Episode 10 of Inside the Vault with Roquan Smith is on deck. And Sarah, it's our 10th and final episode. And we're going to call this, hey, for all intents and purposes, we're going to call this the postseason episode 10 of Inside the Vault with Roquan Smith, even though it's bye week. Special thanks to CyberTech for sponsoring this episode and sponsoring Inside the Vault with Roquan Smith all season long. We certainly could not do it without our friends at CyberTech. I'll tell you more about them in just a second. But this was a special one because I feel like we started out the deepest we've ever gone, first and foremost. Then it evolved into like pure hatred and almost like an evil face for the Steelers, which we'll get to. And then it finished with just like more gratitude. And I feel like it came full circle in the final few minutes there. And he went well above the time, as usual, that we had signed up for and he committed to. And I don't know. I'm feeling definitely like warm and fuzzy after that one because I just have such an affinity for this guy, and I know you do too, and I know this fan base does, and this town does, and man, the fact that he's not going anywhere anytime soon makes it so much sweeter.
Warm and fuzzy was not the adjectives that I thought you were going to use, because I do not feel warm and fuzzy. I feel fired up.
Well, wait a second. The last 5 minutes were. You haven't gotten over the middle portion of the episode.
Listen, let me set the scene for this, because you made it all fluffy. Let me tell you something.
I did not.
Yes, you did. Let me tell you something. Roquan came into this interview already fired up. Like, I could feel it from the beginning, okay? He was already, okay, Roquan's always fired up, right? But if somehow there's a way to bring it up a couple notches, that's where he was in this playoff Roquan. Then if he wasn't already like on 100 already, we played that Steelers locker room celebration where they're saying, come in your trap, take over your trap. And oh my gosh, he looked ticked. Bobby, no, I do not feel warm and fuzzy. I feel like I'm ready to go play football right now. This was such a good interview.
The last few minutes, I at least felt that way. You haven't been able to get over the bulk of it. You're still rolling with the bulk of the interview, which is the heart of it, which I get.
Okay.
Maybe I'm more thinking about like the culmination.
I blacked out by the time I went fuzzy because I'm over here like ready to go.
This is hilarious. I'm like over here reflecting on the culmination, how grateful I am to have secured the partnership and can't wait for it to continue. And we're making plans off the side with his people about what we're going to do in Vegas, right? If we're there, I'm definitely going to be there. You're potentially going to be there as well. Like that, and then you're like, wait a second. No, the bulk of it, evil, hatred, blood, darkness. That's where we're at. That's where we live. And that's where we stay.
I can't even listen. Just read your ad and let's get to it, because let's read our ad. We're very grateful for CyberTech because none of this would have happened without them. But let's read it and get to it.
I am dead. This is the best intro we've ever done and perhaps the best episode ever of Inside the Vault with Roquan Smith. This is brought to you exclusively by our friends at CyberTech, as I mentioned at the top, a next-generation local recruiting, resourcing, and outsourcing firm, a new way to acquire resources. So, whether you're in need of new hires, contingent staff, or just seeking to outsource a business or technical function, CyberTech is the organization for you. If you're in need of resources and candidates and you don't have the time to sift through dozens of resumes, CyberTech is a company that really understands your needs and presents candidates that are not in the open market within 48 hours. CyberTech has over 40 years of combined experience working with some of the largest organizations, both in the Baltimore area and nationally. So if you think you or your company might be a good fit, you'll have a chance to meet myself, Sarah, and the CyberTech team for a virtual introduction. You can get started today by scanning the QR code that we have in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, or if you're in the audio-only space, simply send an email to the address that we have included in the show notes below. Without further ado, one intro, the other intro, whichever you prefer. We hope you prefer this one because it is one of our best, and it is the final of our commitment and our and Roquan's commitment to us, because that's what it was. Roquan committed to us. Roquan invested his time in us. And for that, we are incredibly appreciative here in year one. Technically year two. We've only been doing this for a year and a half. But again, if you want to show appreciation to us after this episode, during this episode, whatever, it's so easy to do it. Like the video, subscribe to us on the Vault. And our promise to you is that we're going to continue to churn out content like this. So here it is, episode 10 with Agent Zero before Divisional Round weekend. All right, Ro, as we talked about before we went live, man, there's been a whole lot of congratulatory stuff for you in the news. And here's the most recent one as we tape this on Wednesday the 10th here of bye week. You and Lamar and Kyle all named by your peers as members of the All-Pro team. That's on top of a back-to-back Pro Bowl honor for you. And, man, I know that we all know what you're going for, but do you allow yourself to at least reflect and appreciate what these types of honors mean?
Honestly, I'm always extremely grateful to be in the position that I'm in to and for my peers to think so highly of me. And like I told some of the guys earlier, none of that would be possible without the guys that I line up and go to war with day in and day out, because they make my job a lot easier and make opposing offense's job a lot tougher. But I try not to think about it too much. I just be like, hey, I like to live in the moment, enjoy each and every moment that I'm given, make the most of it, not think too far ahead, and all the accolades, the personal accolades, they come. That's great. But at the end of the day, like you said, I'm going for the big fish. I'm trying to catch me a big fish. So that's what we're going for. And that's my mindset. But it's definitely great, and it's a tremendous honor, and I'm very thankful.
Ro, it's obviously one thing to get these accolades for a second or third time, but for Patrick Queen, it obviously meant a lot to him. He's a first-time Pro Bowler, and he's had just an uphill battle since he's been into the pros. And then when Eric DaCosta had him come up to his office, the Ravens media team had videos in there. It looked like Patrick Queen got pretty emotional. And so while you don't let yourself celebrate, your own accolades too much, what did it mean to see PQ get there?
Honestly, when I tell you so extremely happy for a guy, a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I'm happy for this person, happy for that person," but man, when I tell you I'm extremely happy for that guy, because I just remember his mindset even last year when he didn't make it, how he felt about it, and I'm more so just trying to be that big bro, bro, just use that as motivation in a sense, and just put the world on notice, and what we gonna do in the years coming, it's gonna be pretty sweet, and was thinking about that and that mindset, and just watched him even throughout OTAs, when he was still thinking about things and going through things when he had time to himself, and how he just had the mindset. I remind him, bro, at the end of the day, just control the things you can control, and I promise you, if you play the game the way that I know you can play the game, and the way you know yourself can play the game, bro, you'll be able to achieve any and everything that you want. And just seeing him just do that day in and day out, bust his tail, not make excuses, and talk about the amount of maturity I've seen from him, literally in over a year, is literally night and day. And I'm just wow, just seeing somebody how they just grow in front of your eyes. I'm granted, he's a grown man, don't get me wrong, but when you just see someone grows from afar, and it's not you just tell him, bro, I see you growing. It's actually what you see with his actions, in a sense, and the way he carry himself, and just to see him finally getting the respect that he deserves. And this year watching, it's clear as day, no other linebackers played the game the way we played the game this season. And if he was shorted by any means, it's BS. And it's a tremendous honor, man. And I'm just so happy for the dude, and I just know so much is in store for him, and I know that meant a lot for him, to get the recognition he rightfully deserved. And so I'm just happy, and I'm happy that he's lining up with me, and we got a rodeo we got to finish though.
Think about this too. You got here last year, right? We've had the privilege of watching him come full circle since 2020, and it really has been. You talk about career trajectory. It's been awesome to watch, whether it's been on-field progress or, to your point, some of the leadership that he's exuded. I think it was on full display post-game last weekend when he was asked about Trenton. And I just thought, I don't know if you've seen the clip, but it was just tremendous. And we're not going to play it now because it's a little bit long. But he was so complimentary, and it just showed you that you guys have a special, obviously, locker room atmosphere and culture, but specifically that linebacker room. And I know you've mentioned it starts with Zach, but then it leaks down to all you guys, and it's become contagious. With PQ, he's in a contract year. I know that you guys have bigger fish to fry right now before the offseason hits. Are you savoring this time that you have? Marlon kind of made it. Wasn't it Marlon the other day, Sarah, that mentioned we're savoring what this means right now, because the reality of the NFL is not everybody here is going to be here next year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That gave me chills actually hearing that, when you think about it. And I talk with the guys often, and I try to echo that message in a sense of hey, truth be told, thinking about it, there's some people that scrapped it up for the last time this season alone, like not just with one team, but like scrapped up their football career in general. Some people maybe just played one season, some 2, 3, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And I try to like echo that message throughout to the guys, and like, knowing that's why I try to live in each and every moment, knowing that, hey, tomorrow's not promised. We'll never get this team. When you truly think about it, in this one life that you get, you will never truly get this team back ever again. Like, regardless, people are going to go on down their own path. Some people are going to hang the cleats up. Some people, like, everybody's going to go down their different paths, and what makes life so unique. And so that'd be like the message, trying to echo it to the guys, like, bro, do you really realize what we have here at hand? And then on top of that, like, the locker room, the guys that we have, and how genuine and selfless everyone is, it don't come every year. So like being able to just take advantage of it and just give everything you got while you can in the moment, because we're going to look back years from now. And like, I don't want to be that one living with regret, saying, I wish I could have did this, wish I could have did that, and trying to echo that throughout to the guys. You don't want to be one of them guys. I hear them stories all the time. That's just like them hometown heroes say, bro, if I would have did this, I would have did that, things would have been different. But we in the moment right now, you're able to control the outcome of the situation that you want to put yourself in. And hey, the sky's the limit for us. And like, just thinking about it with him, I'm cherishing every single moment I get with him, because you never know what the future holds at the end of the day. But I know it's going to be a great one for him, and he'll still always be my guy, regardless of wherever the situation may take him.
Bro, I feel like I'm in a huddle with you right now. I'm getting fired up. I'm like, bring on the playoffs, let's go. I agree. I tweeted that the other day when you guys were both at Pro Bowls. I was like, cherish this, because this type of locker room does not come around very often. So let's get to the mission at hand. All right. We know that you guys have this weekend off. You get a chance to scope out all 4 of your potential opponents. I'm not going to ask you who you want to face, because that's lame. I've been saying all week, Roquan, and you tell me if we're on the same page here. I've been saying all week, it doesn't matter who the Ravens get, because it's nameless, faceless opponents. And to me, if you guys play to where you're capable of, your A game, it doesn't matter who it is, because I think you can beat anybody in the NFL. So to me, it's about the Ravens. It's not about your opponent. Are we on the same page?
Absolutely. And like, I tell the guys that, told one of my boys, we was just talking recently about that. And I'm like, bro, when you really think about it, if we're like on our stuff, play in and play out, regardless of who come out there, like, I don't care who you get, legends, whatever the case may be, line them up. If we own our stuff, and how I know we will be, we'll knock them all down just like bowling balls. Let's go to the bowling alley. If it takes 8, we'll knock 8. If it takes 9, whatever the case may be. But yeah, we don't fear nothing, not ducking any smoke at all. So whoever makes it out of the first round, and whichever those teams, it's like what, 4, 5, 6, or 7, one of those teams, whoever make it, we'll welcome into the banks. And hey, we locking the doors, locking the gates, and I'll tell security when we can let them out.
just for by the way, I think this is our best episode yet. The best for last. You have been just tremendous here to start. One of those, just for the purpose of this exercise, Ro, humor me here. One of those 4 teams could be Pittsburgh. And we got to get your reaction to the way that they celebrated last weekend's game. Now, you didn't play, right? Many of the starters did not. I'm sure that was a strategic thing as you guys get ready for, the divisional round matchup next week. But one of those teams could be Pittsburgh. And here's how they celebrated underneath the bank in the locker room after that win.
Come on! Who fucking with us?
That ticked me off. How do you celebrate like that when like all the superstars from the Ravens aren't playing? So the ego side of me is like, can we please get Pittsburgh again? Let them come to the bank again when Rowe is playing and Lamar is playing and everybody else. That ticked me off.
Yeah, I would love to see them, honestly. But they need to make sure they make it out of the first round, and then we can really talk. So that's like a conversation for another time. Like, but I would love to see them at the end of the day. Got respect for Mike Tomlin and everything he's done, but at the end of the day, I would love to welcome them back to the bank. But they got their hands filled this weekend, so hopefully they can say they look forward to next week.
Tell you what, who had their hands full, teams that faced you guys this year, offenses that faced you guys. Mike McDonald's defense, your defense, did something that no other NFL defense has ever done. Triple crown, if you will, led the league in sacks, points per game, and takeaways. So, I mean, just first and foremost, you guys did something that never had been achieved. I mean, the NFL has been around a long time, so big congrats there. But Mike Mack getting a lot of interviews this week, perhaps because of this stat right here is one of them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like the guy Mike himself, man, I think a wizard. Like just the way he gets us, gets us prepared, and the way he can dissect, like we in science class or something, but how he can dissect the offense, like by the flick of his hand, like give him a couple days, and like he'll have you knowing just about any and everything this offense like to do out of each and every situation. And like the amount of respect that I have for the guy, like don't change regardless of how well he's doing, going through a slight adversity through some games, like never waver at all. And the type of respect I have for the guy and the type of work ethic he have, man, I have the utmost respect for him. And honestly, I think we're just getting started. We got to take it up another notch throughout the playoffs. But it's a tremendous honor. I'm grateful to be a part of it, and I can assure you that each and every person in the locker room and on that defense feels the same exact way, and knowing, how great we are to have a guy like Mike, as well as like a group of guys that are so selfless and willing to do anything to defend the turf by any means necessary. And like I told some guys earlier, it's basically like, a pack of wild animals out on the safari or something like that. And I said, hey, one, get a catch, and then, get a kill or something. Hey, we all going to eat at the end of the day, and we all come there and feast, and we don't care who get it. We're all going to share it at the end of the day. And that's our mindset, and we got to keep that mindset, so on and so forth. And if we do that, man, I tell you, we'll do some special things throughout this playoff stretch.
Is that the mindset that – so I feel like – personally, I feel like I'm trying – everybody that listens to our show, those that still have PTSD from 2019, you weren't here for that. But there's so many people who are freaking out about rust. And I'm like, first of all, I don't even know that rust was the reason why the Ravens lost that game. Just some days you're not playing your A game. Lamar just on Wednesday said that it was just more youth or whatever. But what you just said, I was going to ask you, what protects against getting rust? Is it routine, or is it the mindset that you were just talking about?
I think first and foremost, like I don't know too much about 19, don't really care too much about it, if I'm being perfectly honest. So, but I'm more so this year, and that's all I'm focused on right now. And I think it's more of like just each and every guy. I think we do have a very mature team, and each and every guy know the situation that we have at hand, knowing what we have right in front of us. And I think leading up to whoever we get to scrap it up against next week. But like this week, I think it's just fundamentals, football, like, running to the ball, getting your cardio, running plays, maybe some plays that have hurt you throughout the year, or whatever the case may be. But like, just keep sharpening your knife. So when it's time to go to war, that knife is sharp as it possibly can be. And somebody get close, they're going to get, juked, or whatever the case may be. So that's the mindset that we have, and we just sharpen it up. So naysayers and whoever can say whatever they want to say. Honestly, I don't truly care too much about it, but I just know come next week, whatever day that game is going to be on, Saturday, Sunday, the Baltimore Ravens going to be ready to roll, and our defense going to be coming off some hot stones, ready to lay them on someone else.
Have you sensed even a speck of complacency this week? Because we've noticed John Harbaugh's approach to this is a little bit different than it was 4 years ago. And again, we're not asking you about 4 years ago. I'm asking you about just, of course, you're going to be where you're at, and you haven't changed whatsoever, one iota. But what have you seen from your peers this week in terms of preparation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way the guys been working day in and day out, but far as this week, just like, we preparing just like it's a game week.
Right.
And when you think like that and you prepare like that, preparing is like, hey, we playing a team this week, but it's us versus us. And that's what it is each and every week. So nothing really changed as far as the mindset wise. And like, that's something that we're honing in on. And each and every man is just like, okay, what am I doing this week? back to the fundamentals, because that's all the game is, fundamentals, and then you just let your light shine. And that's like something we're working on, being the fundamentals and like just doing what we do. And I feel like if we do that, everything else will take care of itself easy.
Hey, Ro, we were listening to the interview that Lamar Jackson did with Tom Brady, which was really cool. It's not often you have two GOATs at the position talking, and they essentially love each other, which was really fun to listen to. But Lamar talks about part of his motivation to win this Super Bowl, and it's one game at a time. You got to go 1-0 every week. But he said part of his motivation is that he still has a chip on his shoulder from everybody just not believing in him, right? Believing he couldn't play quarterback, believing it's always one narrative after another. For you, has there been a past where people didn't believe in you? Like, Lamar said he's going to marinate in that kind of anger and having that chip. Where do you have a chip? And if not, where is your motivation coming from?
Honestly, I have a chip each and every time I go out there and line up, because I have a chip by you putting a cat in front of me and you expecting this cat to like beat me over and over and over again. So like that's my chip. And then I also have that chip from like actually just the game of football. Like everything the game of football has done for me throughout my life, the countless relationships I've made through the game of football, pretty much everything the game has brought me, being able to see the world, do so many amazing things. I feel like it's only right that I keep that chip on my shoulder and like pay the game back with everything that I have every single second that I have it, because I know one day I'm gonna look back and be like, hey, I wish I could have did that, I wish I could have did that, but I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy to say, hey, I did everything I did. Hey, wipe my hands. Over with. And that's like my mindset, and like that's the mindset I try to echo throughout the guys day in and day out. And I feel like if each and every guy live with that mindset, and I truly mean like live by that mindset, not like probably like that mindset, but actually that mindset is embedded in you, deep inside of you. It's not on you, it's in you. And if you have that, the chip that you have is bigger than anything any human being or whatever the case may be can put on you, because like within yourself, it's a battle between you. And if you have that battle between yourself, hey, there's no one that can touch you or believe or stop you anything mentally, physically.
You know how LeBron James gearing up for postseasons in the past would tweet and Instagram like 0 dark 30 and he'd go dark on social media? I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that he would enter like hibernation essentially during postseason, during an NBA playoff run. Can you just give us a look behind the curtain in terms of how you're about to just go straight up, narrow your focus more so than you already have in the past, and the support system around you becomes smaller, I would think, over the next, a month from tomorrow is the Super Bowl. So
yeah, and honestly, like I would like to say is just wait and see, but it's gonna definitely be something locked in, not creating anything out of the woodworks or anything like that. It's gonna be basically what I do, but maybe it's gonna be the playoffs, a couple more eyes, a couple more people will be able to see what we do in a sense as well. And I think it's just going to be doing our job, and it's punishing cats, play in and play out, and letting cats know, hey, I don't want to get the ball no more, coach. That guy over there, the boogeyman, is coming to get me. The boogeyman, like plural, because like we're all with that mindset, and we all trying to, find a stray, and then, hey, you take them down a dark alley and you do what you have to do. And like, that's our mindset, and we're going to be ready. So that's the mindset I have. I know that's the mindset I'm echoing throughout the defense. And I know each and every guy that strapped them pass on is going to be ready to rock and roll with us, regardless of who they roll out there for us. And the game can be anywhere. Love that it's in the M&T Bank, but if they want to do it in Camden Yards or the parking lot outside there, or, we can do it out on the highway, wherever, we're going to be ready. I can promise you that.
Let's go. Let's go.
We got literally 20 seconds till our 20-minute mark. I just got to get this out. First thing that I've been curious of, with Mike McDonald having a ton of head coaching interviews, I want to know, just can you tell us who he is behind the scenes? Because in front of the cameras and microphone and everybody has their own way, he is the quietest, like doesn't want to give you a quote, like whatever I can do to get out of here. I want to hear like more of like his personality. And number two, because we're not going to get you before the Super Bowl, if you go to it, who are you flying out and you want to celebrate with? Two wildly different questions, but I gotta get them in here real quick.
Yeah, no, totally. With Mike, that's kind of funny that you say that, because like I think first and foremost, Mike is a wizard. And I think like Mike's personality, he's very reserved. He has a reserved personality, but he's the type that more so he say everything that needs to be said in a sense, and it's not all the extra, like, you know how they say the fat on the meat and stuff like that. He's shaving the fat off and just getting right to the point, not going to be up there any longer than what he need to be. And I appreciate that, because it's like directly to the point, and it's going to get you the information that you truly need. And I love playing for him. The guy, he's cool, very smart. You can talk to him about anything. So we have random conversation. It can be about, it can be about physics. It can be about, random stuff. Like, it can be about like today and something being extinct, like just things like that, just random stuff. So he's a guy that can talk on many different spectrums, and can talk about, have a conversation about any and everything. And I like to consider myself not on his level, but in that sense as well, that are so broad and can talk about anything. So that's why I feel like me and his connection is really, really good at it. And I truly enjoy playing for the guy, and I'm happy for all the success that he's having, we're having, and I just know we're just getting started with this rodeo. It's just the fans are just now coming in to the rodeo. The bulls are still, making sure their body's checking their health, everything like that. And so we haven't even done anything like that or put on the show just yet. So gotta wait and see. And far as the question of who I'll have come out, honestly, I'll just make sure a good bit of my family is able to come out and whatnot. I'm sure they'll be there anyway, so that's gonna be sweet. And far as afterwards, I would just with the guys, because that's who you laid it all on the line with, play in and play out, blood, sweat, tears, literal blood. And so when you think about it from that perspective, who else deserves more than the guys that you're going to war with day in and day out, because they obviously made those sacrifices day in and day out, just like I did myself.
Bro, I was just reminded we should probably finish with your Huddle speech that was posted by the social accounts recently, and I think this caption went along with it great. Before we play it, Jake Luke, great guy, big fan of yours. He tweeted, he goes, "If you watch this with a discerning eye, you'll notice Roquan becoming more and more of a psycho as the video goes on." I think that's a compliment, by the way, but here it is, just in case folks hadn't seen it.
It's only one way to play this game, and it's fast and physical all day. Y'all here too saying trap game this, trap game that. Hey, epic. There's a lot of he say, she say in this world, man. What we gonna be today, PQ? What we gonna be today? Let's come out here, man. Let's not take this for granted, man. Let's, like I said before, let's do this for the ones that came, man. Sunday night football, the whole world watching. Send a message, because you never know what play gonna be your last, man. Let's come out and dominate on the jump, man. I'm coming. I promise you, on my life, I'm coming. From the first snap, man. From the first second. What are we gonna do, man? All back against the wall. All back is against the wall. I told team security, lock the gates. That's all it's gonna take. Be violent in everything you do. Let's take that every single play. From the first snap to the last snap. Let's show them exactly who we are. From the first snap to the last snap. This is AFC North football, and this is the Baltimore Ravens. That's all I got to say, man. I'm ready to go, man. You know what we do on 2, 1, 2. Woo!
I'm sorry.
I don't even play football. I would get on the field with you, Roquan. I would run through a wall for you. Let's go.
I had to play it. I had to.
It's pretty sweet, man. And it's just that mindset, that was a variety of speeches combined in one, so it can kind of seem like bits and pieces and whatnot. But yes, the mindset you have to have, and you have to have the feeling of you want to line a cat up every single chance you get, because like Zos always say, any and every chance a cat get a chance to embarrass you in this National Football League, a cat gonna embarrass you. Because I know if I can, I'm gonna try to embarrass you every chance that I get. And hey, you can be the mean, big homie. I'm not trying to be that. And I just try to echo that to the guys, and just knowing each and every snap. And it's your resume at the end of the day, and you're judged truly off your resume, and that's gonna live forever. Your kid's gonna look up one day and say, "Hey, Dad, you let this dude do this to you?" Nah, dog. I'm not trying to be that one when I have little ones. I'm not trying to be that guy. So just echoing that through the guys, and having the guys ready to rock and roll. Because the talent we have and the mindset that we have is gonna take care of itself. It's just about making sure guys are locked in, and I know the guys are locked in 10 times out of 10. It's just about reiterating that. And like, I think that's just like part of my job and part of what I do and what I bring to the table. So I'm just grateful to be doing it in front of a great group of guys and a group of guys that, know exactly the meaning behind every single thing that I'm saying. And we try to express that in our play in and play out, and just want to, dominate a cat and like embarrass a cat and not be the one getting embarrassed.
Look,
good luck, man.
yeah,
This is our last show before you go out. We're going to just know we're rooting for you from our homes, with our families. The whole city is. You guys are ready. You guys are ready. So good luck with everything. We wish you the best. We hope to be celebrating on the other end with you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Everything's been so amazing. So I'm very grateful for you guys as well.
Ro, we kept you longer than planned. Super grateful for this, man. I mean, look, I'm sure you've seen some of the comments. I know people have stopped you. The amount of people that reach out to us just to show their appreciation to you has been a lot of fun, and here's to potentially beyond 2024. So looking forward to that, and we hope to talk to you in mid-February. Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. And much respect and much love to, all the fans out there. If I don't hear from you guys, there's much respect, and I appreciate you guys a lot. Seriously.
We're beaming right now because it's just
so proud of whatever you're about to say. You're so proud of it. What clever thing have you come up with? What are you going to say?
I just hope people enjoyed it. The question becomes, all right, warm or fuzzy, warm and fuzzy, or scorched earth? What say you out there? Let us know in the comment section. There was a little bit of both, but we know how you feel. So, man, that was just that was another awesome interview. He clearly came in fired up, like you said, and clearly there is absolutely zero complacency. He's going to do his part wholeheartedly to ensure that's the case. And John Harbaugh's obviously made the changes from 4 years ago, as we've already addressed this week. So I love it. It just seems like the focus is narrowed. There is zero complacency, like I mentioned. Guys are getting healthy. They're acting normal. It's business as usual this week. And as Ro said, like, ultimately their opponent this week and for the next 10 days is themselves.
Yes. This is what I'm talking about, though. This is why, and I'm sure everybody feels this way with me. I just feel like I have a kindred spirit with Roquan. Like when people talk about fear, it's like always, well, I'm concerned about this or I'm concerned about that, whether it's rust or who the opponent is, or none of that matters when you have a mindset that Roquan Smith has. None of it matters. Do you think that man has an ounce of fear? Do you think that man has an ounce of, oh, what if I come out flat? Do you think that man has an ounce of, what if I come out rusty? And then when he said, I don't care about 2019, I couldn't care less about it, with all due respect. And just like, and then, oh, I would love to have the Steelers, but, had a little jab in there being like, but don't forget, we don't even know if they're going to make it there yet. So They got their hands full with somebody. And then like, just all of his war analogies and just no fear, which is that's what these professionals are supposed to do. People keep asking me about who it should be. Who would you least like to face? Yada, yada, yada. No, doesn't matter. All that matters is that they have their mind right. And Roquan Smith absolutely has his mind right.
I thought what was absolutely hysterical is when that Steelers video was playing. First of all, just on my end, just a little peek behind the curtain. So, I kind of handle the production side of things. So when I put the video up, Roquan was actually hidden by the video on the screen. So I was like, I got to change that. I'll put myself in the middle. I'll take this one. And so I shifted him off to the left, and I couldn't help but notice. I'm sure you were you watching him or were you watching the video?
Both, but more the video because I was getting fired up.
Okay. Well, so I'm watching both too, but then I found myself just transfixed by what he was doing.
Okay.
He was mean mugging the video. He literally was so pissed off that I was like, should I stop playing this? Like, he looks really, really displeased right now. And I was like, let's go. And then
I think I saw the same thing, which is why I wanted to come in and be like, look, we're playing this because we're ticked off. And I hope we're all on the same page here. I didn't want him to think that we were like, you know what I mean? Like we've talked about it on our show. Like, I'm ticked off. Do you feel the same way? Kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I'm glad that you got that.
He cleared, but then you're right. He was digging at him pretty good. And hey, look, Steelers obviously don't scare you. I know if you're the Ravens have proven this year that you can make an argument that no team should scare them league wide. I mean, they were the top to bottom, not all year long, but they finished the year as the top team, and they're the Super Bowl favorites. I still think that you would want to see Pittsburgh. It's really hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year, in one season, and that's what Pittsburgh would have to do if they face the Ravens. But they have a lot to do, like Roquan said, in the divisional round. So we'll wait and see.
The other thing that really got him fired up before we even got to Steelers, because we started out with like the news of today, right? Which was that he was named as one of the players All-Pro. And he's pretty like chill. It's pretty cool, but obviously I want something bigger. But then when we talk about PQ, then he starts getting fired up. So when he says that he's genuinely extremely excited for PQ, that was like the first moment that he started getting fired up, because, and I wanted to talk about it longer, but you never want to be the person talking. You want it to be them, right? Like, because we can talk as long as we want on other episodes. But
he makes it so easy to do that. Sorry to cut you off. He makes it so easy to do that. So I had to find myself when I followed up on the PQ thing. I had to stop myself because it's so conversational, as you guys have probably seen between the 3 of us, that it can be hard. It's like, wait a second, it's about him. It's not about us. And so, but that's him. That's a product of what's working with him.
Yeah, but that's why some of it you don't even have to ask a question. You're just like feeling something. And you don't even have to ask the question. Like, he's ready to go. You know what I mean? Yes. And so, but I'm glad that you did, because what I wanted to do was say, like, because he was talking about the maturation of PQ, and we've talked about that on the show. So I wanted to dive deeper, but I didn't want to go too far. You kind of hit on it, and I wanted to contrast what we've done on the show. PQ talking about Trent Simpson as you did post game, and then PQ after the draft, and how it's like a complete 180, but. There was no need to say that because we already have, but I just wanted to talk with him about it. But he's absolutely, I just love that, like, he's seeing the same thing that we've seen. And then to your point, you were like, but we've seen it since 2020. Yeah. So, but he's the one going like in the trenches with PQ too. So like, I just loved that, like, he couldn't care less about his own awards. But then when we brought him up, it was like, whoa, Nelly, here we go. Roquan's starting to like, get hot. That was for sure.
And from then on, it just got better and better and better. Yeah. Man, that was awesome. And what's also been awesome is the fact that Cybertech has allowed this partnership to exist. Cybertech has exclusively sponsored Inside the Vault with Roquan Smith all season long, and we cannot thank them enough. They have become our friends. They have become huge, obviously, believers in what we're building, and we really, really appreciate them. They are a next-generation local recruiting, resourcing, and outsourcing firm. A new way to acquire resources is what they're all about. So whether you're in need of new hires, contingent staff, or just seeking to outsource a business or technical function, Cybertech is the organization for you. If you're in need of resources and candidates and you don't have the time to sift through dozens of resumes, Cybertech is a company that really understands your needs and presents candidates that are not in the open market within 48 hours. Cybertech has over 40 years of combined experience in working with some of the largest organizations, both in the Baltimore area and nationally. So if you think yourself, your company, someone you might know would be a good fit, you have a chance to meet myself, Sarah, and the Cybertech team for a virtual introduction. You can get started today by scanning the QR code in the upper right-hand corner of this screen. If you're in the audio-only space, you can send an email to the address that we have included in the show notes below. So let's see.
Real
Thursday
quick.
night. Yeah.
As you were reading that, I thought of one thing. Here's where I will give you the warm and fuzzy. I was just thinking about this. When he finished, sorry.
You're unreal. You're unreal.
When he finished with like the chest bump to us and he said respect, and he was like this, I was like, oh, I did feel the warm and fuzzies right there.
Hello. Thank you.
I think I blacked out for a second because I was thinking about his speeches or whatever. But like, yeah, when he was like respect and that felt warm and fuzzy. You're right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And that was what my last thing, because that was the last thing that we saw from him. So that's why I led with it.
All right. I got you now. I got you.
All right. Good. Well, like we've been reminding you, 6 to 10 o'clock Eastern on Thursday night, January 11th, the inaugural State of the Ravens marathon live stream, 4 hours. Guests will be former players like Kadri Ismail, Todd Heap, Brad Jackson, content creators like Ingraven, Spencer Schultz, Jake Luke, who we just mentioned earlier on in the show, who had that awesome tweet of Roquan's speech. We've got Barstool Banks. We've got Brian McFarland for the cap situation. We've got Pete Gilbert from WBAL. We've got the 410 Sports Talk guys. We've got, I'm just going off of memory, so I'm definitely citing people. The Kid Gowie, how can I forget our guy?
Sorry,
Noah Hose from For the Flock. Like, I don't even have it in front of me. But anyway, we've put a lot of time into it. We can't wait for.
You've put a lot of time into it.
we can't wait
Don't
for
give
what's
me
to
credit.
come.
I'm giving you credit.
Appreciate you. We're going to have a blast, and we hope, I don't know, maybe, heck, if they advance, maybe we do it once a week from here on out during the playoffs. But anyway, I just keep making promises, including that 10-hour day on Super Bowl Sunday. So anyway, huge thank you to Cybertech. Again, we've not been able to do this without them, and we just really, really appreciate their belief and their support. So if you guys want to support us, you can join the Vault Patreon community in our show notes below. If you don't want to do so, which is sort of a monthly process, you can support us on a one-time basis through Venmo, and you can connect with us on social media. Sarah's on Twitter at SG Ellison. You can follow the Vault on Twitter at RavensVault, and you can find me across all platforms at Bobby Baltimore. So for Roquan Smith, for my co-host and partner Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trosset signing off from what's been just an awesome 10-episode series is what we're going to call it, and hopefully we got more to come.